All right, let's talk a little bit about the bevel, and some of you may not even know what beveling is. So we have this little sharp edge right here, and you can do this in object mode. So there's two ways that it's done. You can go over to our little icon right here. Make sure it's modifier properties. Slide down there with your mouse, and we're gonna go to its add modifier. And then you're going to go to bevel, which is right here. So right under where it says generate. So right where generate, it says array, and then it says bevel. And you see it puts this little edge right there. And what we can do is you can give the amount of bevel. So you can bevel vertices, which are the points, and you can do edges, and it'll do it all over the model. Right? So if you have this really elaborate model and you just hit the bevel, go back to object mode, hit the bevel modifier, then it will modify it and put bevels on it. So the importance, so let's first of all, let's just look and give it, this is 0.1, and you can increase this to totally change the shape of it altogether. But if I just kind of slowly go down, you can see these edges here. Now, the edges here are no longer sharp. Here we go. Everything around you, with the exception of a knife or a sword, has a slight bevel on it. You don't believe me? Look at your computer, look at your laptop, look at your phone, look at the desk that this is on. If you rub your hand across the edge of it, it's not cutting you because it is beveled in some shape or form. Even the things that tend to look sharp are beveled. And so when we start to look at things, then from a distance, if I go move and put this up, this looks a little bit more grounded in reality. Because the light, when the light hits the edges of a bevel, it just makes things look a little bit more real. From an artistic standpoint, this cube, so let me move my cursor over here. Shift A and mesh, we're going to go to cube. Trying to make sure I got them side by side. So now, if I look down at this cube and if I turn this on right here, you can see that, let's get rid of this. We can look at both of these and see that this cube right here looks a lot better than this cube. And many times it could be the difference between a bevel or not having a bevel. To have your work look a lot better, you don't have to go crazy and bevel everything, but a lot of things do have beveled edges. Your edges, I can't think of any instance where your edges would not or should not be beveled slightly, right? So the bevel is going to make everything look a lot better. You don't have to put it all over, but definitely with some of the edges, you want to throw a bevel onto it, I think, for the most part. Because you can just see it when you start downloading other people's 3D models and you start looking at 3D models, sometimes you can notice that some models look better than others, and older models look like flat 3D models. Even though everything on them is technically good or okay, there's something that's just missing, and oftentimes that is that bevel. It's a subtle little thing, but we've been looking at bevels for so long that it just becomes, we just don't, it just becomes second nature. It kind of makes us, I know that there's a, when people say that, you know, whether you can draw a face or not, you know whether a face looks right. And when there's something off, it's that uncanny valley. It's something that's not quite right about the face because we're so used to looking at faces. So that's why dolls look a little strange to us. Or sometimes 3D models, they look real. Some 3D models can look great of human faces, and other ones can look really creepy, right? It's just something not right about it. And I believe it's the same thing with shapes, because we look at so many things with beveled edges that when we see something that doesn't have a beveled edge, it looks a little strange. So let's go back over here because we didn't apply anything. So if I go over into edit mode, so you see we still got the boundary of the box there, right? So I'm going to go back to object mode, and I want to just show you the extreme of it, or an extreme. So right here, if I go to edit mode, it's still a box. We're just doing a modifier. It's still this box, but we just have a modifier on it, and we haven't made any decision yet. So if I go back to object mode, now if I go up to segments, so now it's given us this cube. And if I go back to edit mode, it's still a box. So what does that mean? That means that now I can hit apply. And so if we go into edit mode now, then look, then we've changed the geometry. So your modifiers, until you hit apply, then it hasn't done anything. And now it is this geometry that we were looking at before. And so now if I go back to edit mode, or I'm sorry, if I go back to object mode, and let's go into edit mode here. So now I want to go up to edge, and I want to select an edge. So over here we have bevel, and we can pull on this bevel and it's going to give us a beveled edge. So just practice that. It's giving you this big gigantic handle, and you just pull on it. Well, don't pull on, don't do that. Because it has a face selected. Because there's a face selected. So right here on the edge, we can click off of that, right? And so if we started clicking around these little edges, so if I click this edge right here and do a subtle bevel, that's what that's doing. We also can click onto our vertices. I'm going to click that vertice, right? I'm going to turn this around and get this sharp vertice corner here. But I don't want it looking right at me. I want it kind of off to the side because it just makes it easier. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to pull. This is such a pain. This is not easy to do. So, hold on. Let me try this again. It is not doing my vertices right now. Oh, wait a minute. Is not. Oh. All right. There we go. That's much better. Okay, I'm sorry. Once again, you got to pay attention up here. So I totally messed that up, but I'm leaving it in because it's going to happen to you. So I got it on one segment. Okay, so we got offset. There's a bunch of other settings here, but we'll go with segments. We'll make it one segment. We're going to select the vertices. I'm going to select it there. And then I can pull and it'll give me this edge. Now, if I want to divide this up, so let's go ahead and get rid of these. Let's go select A. I want to delete that. Well, I'm just going to go back to object mode and delete it. All right, so I'm going to go Shift A. I'm going to add a cube. I'm going to go back to edit mode. I'm going to click onto the vertice and make sure I have vertices selected. And then I'm going to pull right here. And so what I can do is when I pull, I can scroll my middle mouse wheel and it'll divide it up. That takes a little bit of practice because you can also do the same with the edges. So if I go to edges, if I go to edge select and I pull, oops, there we go. See, I did it again. So I got to go back up here and I got to go to edges. And if I pull and roll my middle mouse wheel, I'm getting this rounded edge. See that? So that's, I want to do this one more time with you guys. I'm going to go back to object mode. I'm going to move this up a bit. And I'm going to go back to edit mode. And we're going to select the edge. And then I'm going to left click, drag a little bit. Let me go over to the other side here. This is ridiculous. What am I doing? Okay, so we're going to drag. Well, now I got to start over. Drag and scroll the middle mouse wheel. And you can scroll it slowly. And it will scroll the middle mouse wheel. And so there you go. So that's the other thing. Make sure that you have... So there's some other set. There's some things here, but offset is the most common one. You can explore this if you want to. Feel free to play, but I do want to keep this a bit more focused. That's the bevel tool that you can do it in either, if we do it in object mode, it's just going to bevel the entire object. If we do it in edit mode, we can choose, you can also choose the segments right off the bat if you want. So if I wanted to choose 9 segments and I click and dragged it. Now I'm just clicking and dragging. I don't have to worry about rolling the middle mouse wheel. So if you're not comfortable with rolling the middle mouse wheel, you can just put up how many segments you want. You might want to keep it at an even number, so I might want to do 10 instead of 9. So there you go. So that is the that's your bevel tool. All right. See you in the next video.